A pleasant Tuesday morning to our HEU students, HEU faculty, and general administration members. Welcome to IT Security Day, an annual event hosted by the Miriam College Information and Communication Technology Office, dedicated to make us all aware of the importance of protecting our digital presence and broaden our understanding of IT security. We would like to remind everyone that shown on your screen is the Miriam College Data Privacy Notice. Please take a moment to read it. Let us now begin with an opening prayer before we continue to our enriching discussions.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Lord, may your goodness and love be present amongst us today. Come bless our gathering with unity, hope, and vision. Lord, we pray for unity. Build in us all a deep respect for one another, so that your church may be one. Lord, we pray for hope. Come stir your hope within our hearts and renew our faith. Lord, we pray for vision. May your vision fill our lives as we seek to reveal your love. We ask all this in the glorious name of Jesus. Amen.
May I now call on Mr. Jerwin Araos, our System Administrator Technology and Support Group for Miriam College Nuvali, for a short video presentation and introduce our presenters for this event. Mr.
Thank you,
Jerwin.
Ms. Jazz. Before we dive into the IT security presentations, allow our team to present a video showcasing the highlights of Miriam College Information and Communications Technology Office. Let's take a moment to view the impactful work accomplished by our dedicated ICTO team. And now, we move on into the introduction of our speakers. I am pleased to introduce our speakers for IT Security Day. Our first presenter is Ms. Desha Sabordo, who is an entrepreneurship graduate of our school, Miriam College. She has been in the IT industry for more than 10 years and is currently working for B1G2 Technologies International Inc. as product manager. Ms. Desha will be presenting topics about the most common cybersecurity threat, including strategies on securing workstations and mobile devices. Another esteemed speaker you will hear from today is our very own Miriam College IC2 Director and Chief Information Security Officer, Mr. Anthony Garcia. As an IT expert in security and the forefront of safeguarding our school's digital landscape, Mr. Garcia will enrich our understanding on online identity protection for social media users and securing your email and Google LMS files. Join me in warmly welcoming our distinguished speakers.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Hi, good morning, everyone. So again, thank you for attending our webinar this morning. So my name is Dasha. I will be your speaker and the conductor for our ESET Cybersecurity Awareness. So just allow me to share my screen. Okay. So once again, I will be your speaker for this morning, but for the whole session, I will be turning off my camera to preserve network bandwidth. So before I start my presentation, I would like to express our gratitude to Miriam College for inviting us to conduct this cybersecurity awareness. It's an honor for us to be invited as a speaker in this event. So for those of you who doesn't know what ESET is a cybersecurity company operating for 35 years and is helping institutions and individuals enjoy safer technology. So this morning, we will discuss the following topics. What is cybersecurity and why is it important? What are some of the attacks used by cyber criminals? So I will be sharing more about malware, phishing, and social engineering. And last is we will also tackle how can you practice cybersecurity hygiene. So we will discuss some basic rules to help you and your data stay protected. So maybe you're wondering, why do you need to attend this kind of awareness or this training? Or what's in it for you? Well, we are living in a world where more and more of our business, personal, and social lives are online. Thus, cybersecurity is becoming an important part of our lives. Did you know that the number of cyber attacks in the first quarter of 2021 in the Philippines alone reached around as much as 1.726 million cyber attacks? So this one was recorded for just 3 months, the first quarter of 2021. So imagine, this cyber attacks continues to grow every quarter and every year. And since we are living in the digital age, the question now is, are you ready to take the challenges brought by these cyber attacks? What can help you secure your information or your data? One way is through cybersecurity. But what is cybersecurity and why is it important? Cybersecurity refers to the body of people, processes, and technologies designed to protect your networks, devices, programs, and data from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. So, based on the definition here, cybersecurity is not merely a software that you just plug in and play and think that you're already safe. Cybersecurity involves more than just that. It's a combination of making sure that everyone or the people in Miriam College or in this institution is observing safety practices. You have well executed and implemented processes, and the technologies you use are secured. So, cybersecurity is a combination of these three. Okay, so for us to better understand, would you know the difference between the words security and safety? Okay, so aside from its spelling, there is a difference between the words security and safety. So what's the difference? So when we say security, it refers to the way we protect access to our computer stored information. So for example, are you using an antivirus on your computer or on your mobile device? If yes, that's part of security. You are securing the information or the files on your devices. Now, what about safety? What does it mean? Safety, on the other hand, refers to the way we behave while using the technology. Okay? So, safety refers to your behavior while using the devices or the internet. Okay? So, this morning, we will talk more about the safety or what are the do's and don'ts in using our technology. Okay? But before that, it is also important for us to know or be aware of the common cyber attacks that we can encounter on a daily basis. Okay? So this morning, I will be sharing with you some of the most common attacks used by cyber criminals. And these are malware, phishing, and social engineering. Okay. By the way, phishing is actually just a part of social engineering, but we will be highlighting this one because according to a recent study, there has been recorded of 600% increase in phishing attacks, especially during the pandemic. Okay. So first, let us tackle malware. All right. So what is malware? Have you heard of the term malware before? Okay. So this morning, I will be launching our first poll question. Okay. So if you are on your mobile device or on your gadget, you can type slido.com on your browser and key in the login code that you can see on your screen. So that is 3775023. Or you can also scan the QR code presented on the screen. Okay. So I encourage everyone to participate in our first poll question. All right. So let me just present our first poll question. Okay. So our first poll question is, I'd like to know which of these terms are you familiar with? Okay. So from the question or from the options, we have here malware, virus, Trojan, ransomware, adware, and botnet. Okay, so you can participate in our first poll question. So this one is a multiple choice. So you can select all the terms that you are familiar with. Okay, so I am seeing some answers now. So thank you for participating. Okay, so I guess a lot of our respondents this morning are familiar with the terms malware, virus, Trojan, and ransomware. Okay, so the least familiar term from our options is botnet. Okay, okay, so thank you everyone for participating. I will now move on to our next slide. Okay, so now what is malware? Okay, so malware is actually short for malicious software. So what do you think when you hear the word malicious? This one has a malicious intent or it is harmful to our devices. So when we say malicious software or malware, this one is a type of software that does harm to our computer or our mobile devices. It can modify our files, it tries to gain unauthorized access, and cause disruption. Okay, so malware is actually the generic term or the umbrella term, and it includes numerous threat families, all with different names. So if you are familiar with computer virus or Trojan, that one is actually just a type of malware. And there are a lot of types of malware present in our digital world. Okay, so this morning, I will also be sharing with you some of the most common malware that you can also encounter every day. Actually, I think you have encountered some of these types of malware. Maybe you're not just familiar with its name. Okay, so first, let us discuss adware. So if we have malware, short for malicious software, what do you think is the meaning of adware? Okay, so if you're thinking of advertisement or ad, then you are correct. So adware is actually short for advertising supported software. So adware is actually designed not to be harmful, but just automatically deliver an advertisement. However, some adware are bundled with harmful type of software like keyloggers that are used to gather your information. So where can we usually see this adware? The common source of adware is most often built into free software, but it can also be installed on your browser or operating system through a security hole or vulnerability. Okay? So as you can see, I've highlighted the word free. Okay? So we have to be careful, no? Especially for us Filipinos, because we tend to download and use free applications, thinking that wala namang mawawala sa atin because it's just free. Okay? But we have to be careful, no? We have to be vigilant because sometimes these software or this type of malware can cost us our personal information. Okay? So if you notice when you play an online game, especially if you are using free subscription or free application, di ba you have to finish watching a video first? Or let's say when you are using a free subscription of YouTube, right? Before you can watch the video that you selected, you have to finish watching the 5-second ad. Okay, so that is called adware. I also have samples of adware here. So you can see adware when you are browsing on a website. For example, this one, there is an ad on the side of the page or at the bottom of the page. You can also see adware on your mobile device. No, there will be a pop-up notification while you are playing or while you are browsing on your app store or play store or others when you're playing or browsing on your browser. Okay, so again, you have to be careful when clicking pop-up notifications because sometimes when you click on it, it will automatically download or install malicious type of software like keyloggers or spyware. Okay. Next type of malware is called botnet. Okay, so what does botnet mean? So as you can see from the picture, it looks like a robot. So bot is actually short for robot. So bots, just like adware, this one is designed to perform specific operations. So this one is also designed not to be harmful. Okay, so bots are usually used for automated and predefined tasks. For example, bots are used in instant messaging or what we call chat bots, or even when you play an online game, it uses bot. However, just like an adware, bots can be harmful when they are used as part of botnets. So what are these botnets? Botnets are a collection of internet connected devices. So it used the computing power and resources of those devices for automated tasks that generally remain hidden to the users of the devices. So I will be sharing an illustration on how does botnet work. So for us to better understand. Okay. So what are the common sources of botnet? So botnet infections are usually spread through infected programs such as Trojan horse. Okay, so let's say you visited a website and you downloaded an application without knowing that it contains malware such as Trojan horse. So what will happen? So your computer will be infected by this Trojan horse. And this Trojan horse will give the cyber criminal an entry point to your computer. Okay? So now your computer will be part of what we call botnet or collection of internet connected devices. So what's harmful here is that it only needs an internet connection. So the cyber criminal can be outside the country and you are here in Manila or in the Philippines while you are using your computer. Okay? So the cyber criminal can control your device by using just the internet. Okay, so what will happen? So when your computer is now a part of botnet, it will turn your computer into zombies. Okay. So in cybersecurity, a computer infected with this malware will be called zombie. Okay, so ano ba yung nangyayari kapag na-infect yung tao ng virus or yung patay, no? Kapag na-infect siya ng virus, supposed to be, it should not be functioning or hindi na siya gumagalaw. But once it is infected with a virus, no? Para siyang zombie. Okay, so parang ganun din with computers. So once your computer has been infected with a malware or virus, it can still perform action or task without you using it and also without your knowledge and consent. Okay? So when a computer is part of a botnet, it can be used to send spam messages, make queries to overload websites, or pretty much any other malicious activity. Okay? This is all without your knowledge. So now, what does programmers or software developers use to identify if you are really the one using your computer or your device? Are you familiar with this program or this application? Okay, so this one is called CAPTCHA. Okay, do you know what does CAPTCHA mean? CAPTCHA is actually short for completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. So, mahaba pala yung ibig sabihin ng CAPTCHA. But in short, CAPTCHA is used to identify if the user is a human or a bot. Okay? So, where do we usually encounter this CAPTCHA? Di ba when we try to log in to our account or create a new account, so we use CAPTCHA. Okay? So if you can see here, from the question, it says select all images with an orange. So as a human, I'm sure you can identify which among this picture has an orange. Okay? Whereas with bot, they cannot identify which among these pictures has an orange. Or they cannot also read distorted text or solve the puzzle pieces or security questions like this. So whenever you encounter this one, please answer this to make sure that you are really the one using your account. Okay? So next one is ransomware. So where do we usually hear the word ransom? If you are thinking of kidnapping or hostage taking, then you are right. But in cybersecurity, ano kaya yung kinikidnap sa atin? Why do we have ransomware? Okay? So ransomware, it holds a computer system captive while demanding a ransom. So this one is actually very prevalent nowadays. So from the word ransom, okay, it will demand a ransom or payment in exchange files or important data. Okay, so there are four kinds of ransomware. First, we have what we call screen locker, which blocks the access to the device's screen. So when you try to log in to your computer, it will automatically block you. Okay, so they will demand a password or encryption key for you to access your device. So that one is called screen locker. Another is crypto ransomware. So this one encrypts certain data stored on your disk. So you can still access your device or your computer, but there are files that are now that has been encrypted. Okay, and then they will demand a crypto, or if you're familiar with cryptocurrency, no, as a form of payment. And then we have double extortion. So what is this double extortion? This one encrypts files, no? Your files on your mobile devices or your computer, and then they will export these files or your data to blackmail you into paying a ransom. So the cyber criminal will threaten to publish your stolen data if you will not pay the ransom. Okay? So this one is also very prevalent, no? This double extortion. And I'm not sure if you've heard of the news, but there is a retail giant here in the Philippines that has been infected with this double extortion ransom. Okay? Another one is pin locker. So this one targets Android devices. So what will they do? So cyber criminals will change your access code to lock you out from your mobile device. Okay? So all these kinds of ransomware demand payment, and they most often request it to be made in Bitcoin or some other hard to trace cryptocurrency. Okay? Are you familiar with Bitcoin? Okay, so Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, the value of crypto actually changes every day. And if you will check now, the value of one Bitcoin is equivalent to 1,475,000 pesos. Okay, so imagine how valuable or how expensive your files are. Okay, so the cyber criminal will demand a ransom. And then they will promise to decrypt your files or your data or restore access to the affected devices. However, we need to stress that there is no guarantee that cyber criminals will deliver on their side of the bargain. Therefore, ESET recommends not paying the sum demanded. So instead of paying, our approach should be proactive. Okay? As the old saying goes, prevention is better than cure. So later, we will discuss some basic rules to help you stay protected against these type of malware. So where do we usually encounter or see this ransomware? The common sources are infected email attachment and infected website. But most of the time, we usually encounter this as an email attachment. Okay, so I have here an example. So what can you say about this example or this email? It looks just like a regular email, or just an ordinary email that we can receive every day. And if you will look on the subject name and the file name, it says here invoice. Who are those handling invoices? Usually they're from the finance or the admin department, right? So these attacks or this ransomware is actually targeted attack. So they target those who are not technically inclined or who are most likely to fall victim into their trap. Okay? So we really have to be careful when clicking and downloading attachment from emails or from unknown senders. Now, what will happen if you click on the attachment? So once you click on the attachment, it will automatically so the one you can see on your screen is the actual notification received by the victims of WannaCry ransomware. Okay, so WannaCry ransomware is one of the most devastating ransomware attacks that happened in the digital world. So this ransomware attack happened in 2017, which infected over 200,000 computers worldwide. And just like with any other ransomware, it also demanded payment or ransom. Okay. And as you can see, they will tell you that you can still recover your files safely and easily. But just like what we see in the movies or in news, sometimes even after paying the ransom, no, hindi pa rin nababawi fully, completely, or wholly yung kinidnap sa atin. So once again, we don't have to pay the ransom. We just need to make preventive measures or proactive approaches against these types of attack. All right. Next type of malware is called Trojan horse. So what is this Trojan horse? So are you familiar with the story between the war um, between the Greeks and the Trojans, or based on the story of Greek mythology? Okay, so this malware or this Trojan malware is actually based from that story. Okay, so if you remember or if you have seen the movie Troy or Helen of Troy, there is a war between the Greeks and the Trojans. Okay, so the Greeks, when they are about to lose from the Trojans, they built this huge hollow wooden horse, and inside this wooden horse contains or inside this is the elite forces, no? Or the soldiers of the Greeks. Okay? So the Trojans, they thought that this wooden horse is just a peace offering from the Greeks. So they thought that this one is harmless. So they let this wooden horse inside their city. And that night, when they were sleeping, huh, the soldiers came out from the horse and attacked the city. That's why, no, natalo yung Trojans. So what's the similarity between this malware and the story, no, of the Trojan horse? So this malware is disguises itself as a normal file or program to trick you into downloading and installing malware. Okay. So a Trojan can give a malicious remote access to an infected computer, just like what we discussed with botnets. So once an attacker has access to an infected computer, it is possible for the attacker to steal your data, like your logins, financial data, even cryptocurrency stored on your computers. They can also install more malware, modify your files, or use your computer as part of botnets. Okay, so this one is very harmful, no? Because it is highly obfuscated. And where can we usually see or encounter this Trojan? So the common source of this Trojan is from infected free games, applications, or movies downloaded from unsecure websites. So are you fond of downloading applications from Pirate Bay or Torrent? Okay. So usually they house applications that are infected with these types of malware. So with ESET, we also recommend to stay away from these websites, okay? Do not download applications or software from unsecured websites. Okay. Last, from the types of malware, we have virus. Okay. So actually, this one is the most common among all the types of malware. So what is this virus? Virus is a form of malware that is capable of copying itself and spreading to other computers, just like human virus. Okay, so just like COVID. So this type of malware is designed to spread to other computers. So viruses often spread to other computers or other devices by attaching themselves to various programs and executing code when a user launches one of those infected programs. So what are the common sources of this virus? So viruses are usually hidden in programs or email attachments or files downloaded from the internet. Okay. So as you can see, all the types of malware that we have discussed involve the use of the internet. Okay. So it is really in the power of our hands, no? If we are going to download unsafe applications or files or click links and download applications on our mobile devices. So we really have to be careful. We have to be vigilant. Okay. Another type of cyber attack is what we call phishing. Are you familiar with phishing? What is phishing? Phishing is actually derived from the word fishing na nangingisda. Okay? So, what do you need to have in order for you to catch a fish? Of course, you need a bait or a trap. Okay? So, phishing in cybersecurity is also the act of setting the bait or trap, usually in the form of email. And then they will cast it out into a wide ocean, or the cyber criminal or the phishing artist will just wait, no, or they will just send this email to random mailing recipients. Okay? And then they will just wait, no, for the victim. Sino kaya yung kakagat dun sa bait nila? Okay? So, as mentioned earlier, there is a rapid rise of phishing emails. And their sophistication also has been very noticeable. Okay? So it pays to take a moment to stay informed of some of the items you should look for if you happen to receive a phishing email. Okay? So another poll question this morning. So once again, you can scan the QR code or you can go to slido.com and key in this code 3775023. Okay. So I have here a sample phishing email. Okay. So on this slide, please tell me how many warning signs or red flags can you see from this email that prove this email to be a scam or a phishing email. Okay. So I will just launch our next poll question. Okay. Yeah. So from the options, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 warning signs. So I will give you time to evaluate this email and let me know how many red flags or warning signs can you see from this email. Okay, so what is the first thing that you have to look out for when you receive an unsolicited email? Okay, so let me just check our poll questions. Okay, so majority of our respondents answered 3 warning signs, followed by 2 and also 5. Okay, so how many warning signs do you think there are in this email? So we will also be discussing no, yung warning signs that you can see in this email. Okay, so once again, thank you for participating in our poll question. So now I will be sharing with you some tips on how to spot a phishing email. So earlier I asked, what is the first thing you should look out for when you receive an unsolicited email? So the first thing I suggest looking for is the email address. Okay? So as you can see, this email is from Microsoft. Okay? But if you will look into the email address used by the sender, is it really from Microsoft? No. Huh? This one is using a fake email address. Okay, so this one is very sophisticated, no? Because sometimes the email address is just off by a single letter, or they will just add a number at the end of the company name. Okay? So the first part of the email address can also be legitimate. For example, this one, notification. So correct naman yung spelling ng notifications, no? But the domain name, it is not using Microsoft's domain name. This one is actually using Microsoft.com. Okay, so always check the email address. And also remember that the domain name should always be at the right side of the @ sign. Okay, so what's the domain name? This one. Okay, so this one should always be at the right side. So sometimes kasi phishing artists will use, like for example, the name of the company or the institution, let's say Miriam College. But the Miriam College will be at the left side of the @ sign. So let's say miriamcollege@gmail.com. So it looks an email coming from Miriam College, but that one is not using the domain name of Miriam College. Okay, so always remember that the domain name should be at the right side of the @ sign. Okay, another one is the attachment. Okay, so I suggest not clicking the attachments right away, especially if it contains intriguing message. Like in this example, process immediately. Okay. So some attachments contain intriguing message, encouraging you to open them right away without thinking. Okay. So sometimes attachments from unsolicited emails contain malware. Okay, so do not click on attachments right away. Next one is generic greetings. Okay, have you noticed this one? Okay, and have you also read this email, the sample email? So this email actually concerns your personal Microsoft account. But the phishing artist or the sender used a generic greeting. So dear customer. So I suggest check for overly generic content and greetings. So this one, even though it concerns your personal Microsoft account, it is not referring to you. So this email is sent to a large batch of mailing recipients. That's why it contains generic greetings. Okay? And also, have you noticed that the spelling of customer is incorrect? Because one of the warning signs or red flags of a phishing email is it contains poor spelling and grammar. Okay? So in an email, notice the misspelled words or incorrect grammar and odd phrasing. Because whenever a large company like Microsoft sends out a message on behalf of the company as a whole, the message is usually reviewed for spelling, grammar, legality, and a number of other things. So if an email is filled with poor grammar or spelling mistakes, it probably didn't come from a major corporation's legal department. Okay? So imagine if you receive an email from Microsoft and they don't know how to spell the word customer correctly. Di ba? Magdududa tayo. Alright? Next one is demanding actions. Okay, in this example, it says here, please pay now or else your account will be terminated. So look out for messages that use a sense of urgency or demanding actions. Some demanding actions include you've won the lottery, no? Click now to claim your prize. Okay? Or process immediately, as in the case of the file name, and also threats like your account will be terminated. Okay? So sometimes cyber criminals or phishing artists will just use or will just threaten you to take action. Okay? Next one is a mismatched URL. Have you also noticed this one? Mismatched URL? So whenever you receive an email that contains a mismatched URL, then that one is probably a phishing email. So how are you going to know if the URL or the link is mismatched without clicking it? One way to know is to hover your mouse pointer on top of the URL. So when I say hover, no, itututok nyo lang po yung mouse pointer on top of the URL. Okay? And then a small text box will appear that contains the actual URL where you will be redirected. Okay? So in this example, the displayed URL is microsoft.com/payment. But if you hover your mouse pointer on top of it, you will be redirected to pretend/microsoft.com. Okay? So if you receive an email, please do not click on links right away. Okay? And last but not the least is asking for personal information. Okay? So no matter how official an email message might look, it is always a bad sign if it asks for your personal information. Okay? And especially if you receive an email or a message from banks, no? And then they are asking for your personal information. So you should not give your information to them. Because if you are really a subscriber of that bank, they don't need to ask this information because they already have a record of it. Okay? So just ignore messages or emails that contains these warning signs. Okay? So once again, there are 7 warning signs or red flags from this email. So I hope after this training or this event, whenever you receive an unsolicited email, you will check for these warning signs first. Okay? So now let's move on to our last trick used by cybercriminal, which is social engineering. Are you familiar with the term social engineering? Social engineering is actually the term used for a broad range of malicious activities accomplished through human interactions. Okay, so as you can see from the picture, minamanipulate yung tao. So this one uses psychological manipulation to trick you into making security mistakes or giving away sensitive information. So how does social engineering happen? So these attacks happen in one or more steps. First, the cyber criminal will investigate the intended victim. So bakit nila kailangan mag-investigate? Because they need to gather necessary background information on their intended victim. Okay? And where do we usually or where do cyber criminals usually get this sensitive information or background information about you? Usually from social media. Okay? So now, what are the techniques used in social engineering? Okay, so there are a lot of techniques used in social engineering. So I will just run you through some of it. So first is spam. Okay, spam is any form of unsolicited communication sent in bulk. And they most often use spam as an email. Okay, or it can also be on SMS or DMs on your social media account. Okay. Another one is phishing, which we have just discussed, no? And we have yung tinatawag na spear phishing. So what's the difference between a phishing and a spear phishing attack? So let's just recap. Phishing is a broad automated attack that is less sophisticated. So as we have discussed then earlier, now the phishing artist will just send the email to random mailing recipients. And then they will just wait, no, kung sino yung mabibiktima nila. But in spear phishing, this one is a customized attack on a specific employee and company. Okay? So, paano siya naging customized? So, this one, instead of using generic greetings, no, this one uses personalized greetings. So, they know your name, your designation, or the company where you're working at, or the school where you're going to. Okay? So, how do they know your information? So again, they did their homework. They did their background research. And they get this information from your social media accounts. Okay, so we have to be careful then, no? When posting our information online. Because sometimes this information can be used against us. Okay? Next one is technical support scams. So this is usually a bogus phone call or a web advertisement in which the attacker will offer you unsolicited technical support services. However, in reality, no, cyber criminals will just try to make money by selling fake services and removing non-existent problems. Okay. Next one, we have phishing, or this one is short for voice phishing. Okay? So this one uses fraudulent phone calls. So someone will call you to divulge information. Or in Tagalog, this one is called budol-budol. No? I'm not sure if you have encountered this one, but in the 90s, naalala ko, this one is very prevalent, no? Someone will call your house and then will tell you na naaksidente yung amo, tapos kailangan magpadala ng alahas or ng money. Okay? So that one is budol-budol. So in the modern day, phishing is actually budol. Okay? And we also have what we call smishing or SMS phishing. So this one uses SMS or text messages containing malicious links or content. And this is also very common nowadays. Okay? Maybe some of you have also received smishing attacks. Okay? So I have here our last poll question for this morning. So once again, I encourage everyone to scan the QR code or key in the code that you can see on your screen. Okay. So my poll question is, what will you do if you receive this text message? Okay, so I will just launch our last poll question. Okay, so you can read first the sample message from the screen and then select the best answer. What will you do if you happen to receive this text message. Okay, so from the options, are you going to reply stop? Are you going to call the sender? Are you going to verify it with your bank? Or click the link to secure your account? Or just ignore the message? Or are you going to reply with bad and foul words? So please select your best answer. Okay, so let's see our poll question. Okay, so majority of you answered ignore the message, followed by verify with your bank. Okay, so thank you for participating, no? Walang nag-answer ng reply with bad and foul words. Okay. Ayan, so what's the best answer? Okay. So once again, thank you for participating. So the best thing to do is actually to just ignore the message. Okay. So I have here do's and don'ts when you receive a smishing attack. Okay. So first, what are the do's? So again, the best thing to do when you receive a smishing attack is to ignore the message. However, let's say you receive a message, let's say from a bank, no, just like in our example, and you are worried that your account is actually compromised. Okay? So you can contact the company supposedly sending the message. Okay? So contact the company, their official hotline or their official number, not the company or not the sender. Okay? Not the number, not through the number that you have received. Okay? Also, you can forward the scam messages to reportsmishing@privacy.gov.ph. So this email address is managed by National Privacy Commission. So this commission is actually keen on eliminating, or if not, minimizing the smishing attacks. So by reporting scams or attacks like this, no, it will help them minimize no yung attacks. Also, you can consider using tools that filter or block unwanted messages. So there are anti-malware or antivirus for mobile devices that has features with SMS filter or call filter. So they will automatically block send SMS or calls from unknown senders. Okay? Now what are the don'ts? Number one is do not provide your information or financial data. Okay? So, no matter how enticing the message is, do not provide your personal information to unsolicited text. Okay? Also, do not click on link on suspicious messages. So once you click on this link, they could install malware on your device or take you to a site no, that will do the same. Okay? Sorry. Do not also reply on the message. Okay? So no matter how tempting it is to reply with bad words or foul words, no, just ignore the message. Do not also reply stop, even if it says you to text stop to stop receiving messages from them. No? Because when you reply to their message, it tells the scammer or the phishing artist that your number is active. And it can also be sold to other bad actors. So the best thing to do is just ignore the message. And last is do not assume that a text is legitimate or sometimes a call no, because it comes from a familiar phone number. Because The cyber criminals nowadays, no, they're very advanced. They can use caller ID spoofing to make it appear that the text or the call is from a trusted or local source. Okay. So those are the do's and don'ts, no, if you happen to receive a smishing attack. So we're also done with the attacks, no, used by cyber criminals. So we've discussed malware, phishing, and social engineering. Now, the best remedy against these attacks is to practice cybersecurity hygiene. So this one, this is everyone's responsibility to practice the do's and don'ts in using the technology. Okay, so what are the basic rules to help you stay protected? So when I say basic rules, this can be applied to personal or business, to your personal or business lives. Okay, so first is keep all your software patched and up to date, secure your passwords, back up your data, use a reliable and multi-layered security solution. Check the product icon and the certificate, no, for browsers. Be careful of what you post online and secure your mobile devices. Okay, so let's discuss this one by one. First is keep all your software patched and up to date. Okay, so why is updating your program a must? Do you update your program or your software? Well, updates contain important changes to improve the performance, stability, and security of the applications that run on your computer. Okay, so basically, software updates contain security patches. So this one is used for security purposes. Okay? So most of the time kasi, an update is a company or the developers plugging a security hole in their program to cover up any loopholes or loose ends on the program you use. Okay? So the software we use are actually not free from flaws. So meaning they are not 100% secured. So from time to time, you have to run updates or patches. That is why it is called patch, because they patch the loopholes. Because these loopholes can be used as entry points by the cyber criminals. Okay? And as mentioned earlier, the WannaCry ransomware, did you know that majority of those infected are using Windows XP? Why are they infected with this WannaCry ransomware? Because the software that they are using are already outdated. Okay, so they are prone to cyber attacks. So we don't want that to happen to us either. Okay, so keep your programs or your software patched and up to date, no? Whether on your computer or on your mobile device. Okay. Ayan. I think we are going for a 5-minute break.
Yes, thank you, Miss Desha. We'll just do a 5-minute quick break. Take this time to stretch and recharge. We will see you back for more valuable knowledge on safeguarding our digital landscape. We'll see you back in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope everyone can now see my screen. So we ended with keep all your software patched and up to date. So again, if updating is a must because it contains security changes on our applications or software that we use. Okay, so next is secure your passwords. So how are we going to secure the passwords that we use? So I'm sure everyone is using passwords here, right? So how are we going to create a strong and unique password? Okay. So here are some recommendations. So first is a password has to be unique. So this applies for each account to avoid compromising multiple resources if leaked. So a password no, has to be unique. Meaning if you have, let's say, 10 accounts, no? If you have 10 accounts, whether for business or for work or for personal accounts, 10 or more accounts, you should have 10 or more passwords too. Okay, so for every unique account, you should have a unique password. And at the same time, a password should not be written down on sticky notes or in an unencrypted file saved on any company device. Okay? Next one is do not share your passwords to anyone. Okay, so never share or show your passwords to others, especially to unknown sender from an email you receive, no, or to those posing to be from your help desk or IT support. Because sometimes cyber criminals can post as IT support, no, pretending to fix software or applications on your computer. So do not share your passwords to others. The best practice is to treat your passwords like how you treat your underwear. Okay, so bakit underwear? Do you show your underwear to others? Hindi, di ba? Do you also share your underwear to others? Hindi rin. No? So that's how you should also treat your passwords. Okay? Next one is use passphrases. So what is a passphrase? Basically, passphrase is a long set of characters or a long password. So a phrase with 30 or more characters, even if only comprised of alphabets, is significantly safer than an 8-character word with common substitutes like, for example, are you using passwords with special characters? Nowadays, these passwords that contain special characters are very predictable. Okay, for example, what do you usually replace letter A? Usually, at sign. Or letter E, what do you usually replace letter E with? Now, usually number 3. So these are very predictable. So according to the US National Institute for Standards and Technology, the longer the password, the better. So they recommend at least 8 characters, no? At least 8 characters. What if you can do 30 or more characters, then that is better. And also, avoid repetitive characters. No, baka nga long yung password ninyo, but it contains repetitive characters naman, like this one, no, XXXXX. Or sometimes, poor hygiene password practices include sequential characters like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is also the most common passwords used worldwide. Or some other recognizable patterns like QWERTY, no? These should not be used as your passwords. Okay? Next one is do not use common dictionary words. So these words can be brute forced in a dictionary attack. No? So if you are not familiar with brute force, a brute force attack is a hacking method that uses trial and error to crack passwords or login credentials. Okay, so the common dictionary words include a famous boxer, famous president, or some common terms used by people. Okay. And last is never use your personal information as your password. Why? Because these can be guessed by the cyber criminal based on the information available on your social media accounts. Let's say you are using your middle name, no, as your password, but your middle name is also shown on your social media account, or sometimes your pet's name or your partner's name, no, this can be acquired on your social media account. So do not use your personal information as your password. Okay. Next one is back up your data on a regular basis. So why is it also important to back up your files? For some reason, we do not know when will disaster strike. Okay? So when we say disaster, it is not limited to natural calamities. When we say disaster, it is anything that disrupts normal business operation. Okay, so pwedeng makorrupt, no? Yung computer ninyo or masira, mahulog, mabagsak. Then, paano na yung files ninyo? Are you going to start from scratch again? And also, malware may corrupt or delete your data. Meaning, yung mga ransomware or virus that we have talked about earlier, no? They can encrypt your files or they can delete your files. So instead of paying the ransom, you should have at least a backup of your files or a copy of your files. So it's okay for you that the files have been encrypted. You don't need to pay for the ransom because you still have a copy of your files. And also make sure that once you back up your files, make sure that you test it out to make sure that it is working. And when you back up your files, please save the backup or the copy of your files on a separate device, such as CD, DVD, flash drive, external hard drive, or even cloud services. Okay? Next one is use a reliable and multi-layered security solution. Okay? So there are malware or cyber attacks that cannot be easily noticed by our naked eye. So to help us recognize, prevent, and remove this malware, a reliable and multi-layered security solution is the most efficient option. So not just ordinary antivirus solution, but multi-layered security solution. Because nowadays, cyber criminals are also using advanced technologies or advanced tactics. So we also have to keep up, no, with the trends or the technologies that they are also using. Okay. Next one is check the padlock icon and the certificate. So this one is very helpful if you are browsing on a website. No? So how are you going to know if the website that you are visiting is legitimate, no, or secured? One way is to check the padlock icon and the certificate. Okay, so this one is important, especially if you are using your credit card account on an e-commerce site. Okay. So this one, I have here an example. This is the actual website of BDO. And I am using a Chrome browser here. So no matter or whichever browser you are using, it should have this security feature. So this website uses or has a padlock icon. This padlock icon signifies that the communication to this website is encrypted and secured. So meaning it is safe for you to key in or to log in your credentials or even sensitive information like your bank details. Okay? So always make sure that you are entering a website that wouldn't cause harm to your personal information. Okay? So another example is from BPI. So this one naman, I am using a Safari browser and this is the actual website of BPI. So once you click on the padlock icon, you will see the certificate issued to the company who owns the website that you are visiting or that you are browsing. Okay, so we hear news no about na-hack yung bank account nila because they thought that the website is the actual website of the bank. Okay. So one way to identify if that is really the website of the bank is by checking the certificate. So the certificate will be issued to the company who owns the website. Okay, so in this case, the certificate is issued to PPI. So that means that this website is the authentic no website of BPI. Okay. Next one is be careful of what you post online. So we've learned about to filter the information or the things that we post online. Okay. So there is nothing wrong naman to post updates about the significant events on your life. But always be careful on the information you put or post online. Because as mentioned, this information can be used against you, especially your personal information like your job designation, the company you're working at, or the place you're currently living, no? Before, I used to see some people on social media who post their addresses no, on their social media accounts. Okay, so filter the things you want to post online. You can also manage your privacy settings. No? You can learn about and use the privacy security settings on your social networking site. So whether you have Facebook account, Instagram account, or Twitter or TikTok, please review your privacy settings. No? They will help you control who sees what you post and manage your online experience in a positive way. And also, always remember, once posted, always posted. So protect your reputation on social networks because what you post online stays online. And also, most important, do not post your IDs online. Okay, so keep your personal information personal. So these IDs, no, especially government IDs, no, are the primary sources of your identity here in the Philippines. So if you post it online on your social media account, you are letting people know the information written on your IDs. And with that, you will become prone to identity theft. Just like what happened to Mark Joseph Lontok, you can search for him on Google, no? So this attack happened in 2016. I heard the news about this instance or this incident with Mark Joseph Lontok. He is a public school teacher who had discovered that he is deep in debt by 800,000 peso after posting his PRC ID on his Facebook account when he passed the board exam. Okay. So his intention is not malicious naman. He's just so happy that he passed the board exam. So he posted his PRC ID. But a few weeks later, no, he is indebted with 800,000 peso. So his identity was used to purchase something online. Okay. So we don't want that to happen to us. So please refrain from posting your IDs online. Next one is secure your mobile devices. So there are tips no on how we can secure our mobile devices. So first is use a strong passwords or biometrics. So do you have passcodes pa on your mobile device? So strong passwords and biometric features such as yung fingerprint make unauthorized access nearly impossible. So your passwords on your mobile devices or even on your certain applications should be 6 or more characters long. Okay. However, no, the complexities of your password in other apps might tempt you to store them like a browser does, or yung tinatawag nating remember me password. So please avoid this feature since it only increases the chances of your password getting spoofed. And also, if you happen to lose your device, another person might gain full access into it because naka-remember yung password ninyo. Alright? You can also consider using a multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. So you can activate that on your social media accounts too. Next one is avoid connecting to public or free Wi-Fi. So I'm sure everybody here loves free Wi-Fi, especially if your data plan is limited. However, cheap can turn expensive in a very devastating manner because most of the time, free Wi-Fi points are not encrypted. So these open networks allow cybercriminals to eavesdrop on the network traffic. And they can get or steal your passwords, your credentials, and other sensitive information you have on your mobile device. Okay, so to protect against Wi-Fi hacking, you can use applications that secure your connection. And as much as possible, turn off your Wi-Fi, no, or your Bluetooth on your mobile device when you are not using them, especially if you are in a public place. Okay. Next one is encrypt your mobile devices. So most mobile devices are bundled with a built-in encryption feature. If you're not familiar with encryption, it is the process of making data unreadable. Okay? So encryption is important in case of theft or in case your device got stolen or lost. Okay? So this one will prevent unauthorized access. Okay, so whether you are using iOS or Android smartphone, you can locate this feature on your mobile device. Next one is install an antivirus software on your device. So the files you download and the apps you install on your mobile device might contain malicious code. So to help you remove this malicious code or this malware, you need an antivirus. No? This will help you a lot to make your devices secured against cyber attack or malware. Okay, sometimes, no, cyber criminals can send you phishing emails or smishing attacks which contains link. And once you click on the link, it will redirect you to a harmful website. But with an antivirus or anti-malware application installed on your mobile device, it will prevent you being phished. Okay? Next one is keep all your applications and software up to date. So just like what we've discussed then for computers, it is also important to keep your applications on your mobile devices patched and up to date. Okay, so your software updates doesn't only contain fixes on your GUI or your user interface, but it also contains security patches. So from time to time, update to the latest version of your software or firmware. Next one is keep backups. Okay, so unfortunately, sometimes things happen. Even if you do the best you can, sometimes one mistake can cost you, and it may cost you more than money. So if your mobile device is compromised, you risk losing all of your data. And that includes your contacts and your precious photo memories. So I suggest keep a backup so you can restore your data should your phone or access fall into the wrong hands. So save your backup data to another source like cloud services like Google Drive, iCloud, OneDrive, or another service. And last is be discerning. So what does it mean? In virtually any context, your best bet at staying safe is to err on the side of mistrust. So that doesn't mean being paranoid naman, of course. But don't click links from unknown senders or do not download software from unknown senders or unknown sources. And do not provide your personal information to unconfirmed sites or people. Okay? So it is actually up to you, no? Whether you are going to share your personal information or you're going to download applications. Okay? So this will be the conclusion of my presentation this morning. But before I end it, I'd like to leave some key takeaways. So I know I have mentioned a lot of things, and it will not be easy for everyone to absorb everything. Okay, so I'll just leave some few key takeaways. So there are 5 simple steps to staying safe online. So these are some basic steps lang. So once again, know the risk. What does it mean? It all starts with the awareness of the risk, along with the realization that everybody is a potential target, including me, including you. Okay, so when we keep that in mind, we will be more careful when downloading applications, when scrolling on your social media accounts, when posting online, and when clicking links. Okay, because we are a potential target of cyber criminals. Next one is do not blindly trust any message you receive. Okay, so the key line of defense here is not to blindly trust any message you receive and beware anything that can be clicked, such as links or attachments. Okay, so double check the message. No, so I've shared some warning signs or red flags. So if you happen to receive an email from an unknown sender, look out for the warning signs. Next one is keep it current. So your software, no, whether on your devices, on your computer or on your mobile device, should be updated or patched because these software are not free from flaws. So meaning they are also vulnerable against attacks. So you have to perform a security updates as well. Okay. Next one is play safe on social. So, meaning, be sensible when it comes to divulging sensitive information online or on your social media account. So, filter the things that you want to post online and review your privacy settings. And last is lock down your logins or your passwords. So, once again, passwords are the keys to your online identities. Okay, so which alone is enough to highlight their importance. So once again, choose strong and unique passwords or passphrases. So the longer, the better. And refrain from reusing your passwords. Okay, so this will be the conclusion of my presentation. So thank you for still connecting with me. So let me call on Mr. Anthony Garcia for our next presentation. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Isha. So, yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anthony Garcia, and today I'll discuss about identity theft. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, so basically identity theft. Now, what is identity theft? It's basically someone else pretending to be you. Okay, and the mere act of pretending to be someone else, in the strictest sense, is a form of dishonesty already. Because in the first place, why would I pretend to be someone else? So we can sense that something dishonest No, or the intent is there's something wrong with the intention if you pretend to be someone else. That's why we would like to avoid falling victim to it. And to enlighten us more on this topic, let us watch this video.
Hello, this is Sandy Patterson.
Yes, Mr. Patterson, I'm Janine from the Fraud Protection Department of Identivolt Credit Monitoring Service. We're calling today because unfortunately it appears that someone has attempted to steal your identity.
Are you kidding me?
Gosh, I wish I were. We did catch this in time, however, but I do suggest you taking advantage of our free total protection plan, which safeguards your credit rating against theft and fraud.
Yes, please. If it's free, absolutely.
Just terrific. I went for this plan myself. Mr. Patterson, I'm going to need to verify some information from you. I'm going to need your full name, date of birth, and social security number, please.
Sure, understood. Here it comes.
That's the young bad girls do it well. 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 Put your women back on the dashboard. Put your women back on the radio. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. I lost my wedding ring. 15 years of marriage. Can you believe that? May I see your ID? Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. Sandy Bigelow, Patterson.
Okay, so yeah, if we take that, that's an example of an identity theft. But if you come to think of it, the actor, the threat actor, or the so-called hacker didn't even make use of a computer to commit the act of stealing the identity of the victim. It's via phone call only. And this types of attack is not new anymore. No, it has been there for quite some time, but nowadays it makes it easier for threat actors or hackers to hack into someone else's system and get hold of their personal information or identity, or and steal their identity. Okay? Because of the emergence of computers, because everybody's online, it's easier now for the hackers to get personal information. Before, you need to call your supposed victim before you can perform such act. But nowadays, we can get rid of the phones if you're a hacker by merely hacking into a system, or by merely looking into social media sites. One can easily get hold of information. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about Facebook. I'm talking about Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. There are a lot of social media sites that maybe all or most of us use until now. It's not bad to be active in social media, but what we are seeing is that you need to choose what you post online. Once it's there, even if you delete it. Somebody may have had copies of it already, and it will be easy for them to pretend to be you. Okay, so example is Facebook. How many of us here have posted our real name, your mobile number, your middle name, your birthday, your mother's maiden name, so on and so forth in Facebook, Instagram, and even in LinkedIn? And those information that I have mentioned are the ones being used by even by credit card companies here and abroad to validate the authenticity of a person or of a card holder. So if I know your middle name, your mother's maiden name, your mobile number, email address, it will be easy for me to even pretend to be you and apply for a loan, apply for a credit card under your name. Because remember, these days, even car loans, even home loans, the banks wouldn't require you to go there and to be physically present. You can apply for it electronic and you can receive electronic approvals already. That's one example. No, the same goes with TikTok, with Facebook. You don't post confidential or personal information in TikTok, but then again, your face is there. Diba? Facebook, you upload pictures. How many of us here would always check into Facebook whenever there are special occasions? It's the birthday of your brother, it's the birthday of your parents, no, your son was born at this date, in what hospital, so on and so forth. All the highlights of your life are in Facebook already. So if I want to know more about you, I can stalk you in Facebook without you knowing. Unlike during the early days, if I don't know your phone number, there's no way for me to get in touch with you, or if I don't know your postal address. But now it's very, very easy. I just log into your Facebook account. I would know who your relatives are, who your wife is, your husband is, where you are studying. And these are very important information that can be used by hackers or by any other person that would want to inflict harm on you. So what I am saying is that we need to be very careful on what we post online. There's nothing wrong to use social media sites, but be sure that what you post online are not confidential and personal. Okay. When we talk about personal information, these are data or information that when put together will help someone identify who you are. By merely looking at your picture, I wouldn't be able to determine who this person is. But with the picture and the real name and the school where he went, it will be easy for me already. I just need to call the school and that's it. Okay, so be very careful. When I used to have a Facebook account, well, my real name is there, but the school is not, I have not inputted my current company. Okay, the birthday is wrong. No, I inputted a different date so that when other people would browse through my Facebook, it's not really misleading them, but it's really protecting my identity. Anyway, my real friends, my colleagues would know all this information. So same goes with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional site that you use to apply, you use to connect with your peers professionally. And if I go to your LinkedIn account, I could see all the history of your job, where you worked for, where you are currently working, which is a bit dangerous. Because if you saw someone or a stranger in the street, would you tell him or her where you work? I mean, would you divulge the company where you are currently working? No, but it's all in LinkedIn, and you will never know who viewed your account. So it's not scaring you, but what we are trying to say is that these days, in the era of automation, it's very hard to divulge everything. But at the same time, it's harder for people to make things personal and private because everybody's in social media. So you need to be very vigilant on what you post online. Okay? Because with identity theft, um, most of the time we blame the hackers. I'm not on their side, but sometimes it's unfair to them already because we keep blaming them. But well, in fact, majority of the cases, we are to blame, diba? Because you have posted everything already online. These days, you don't need to be a hacker to stalk a person. I just need to look for your Facebook profile and I can see everything there, even if I'm not IT. So you need to be very careful and vigilant on what you post online. Because identity theft is not a joke. Sad to say, cyber attacks now can inflict physical harm to the person or to the victim. So the implications are as follows. One is safety. Imagine for students here, if I pretend to be your professor or your teacher, I steal the identity of the teacher or the guidance counselor. I pretend to be the guidance counselor and I invite you out for dinner or I invite your daughter out for dinner. Who knows what will happen next? Okay. So that's number one, safety. Second is it can have a financial impact on you. I can apply for loans on your behalf. I can steal your, not steal, but I can have unauthorized access to your online banking transactions, online banking accounts. No, I can withdraw money from that, transfer it to another account, and that's it. Sabihin nyo, we can trace naman if I transfer from one bank account to another, yes, but if I transfer it to my Bitcoin account, well, you won't be able to monitor anymore. Now, if I use it to buy cryptocurrency, you won't be able to trace that anymore because there's certain level of well, with cryptocurrency, they make the owners anonymous, so it will be very hard to check. So with I can make wire transfers from one account to another because all I need to know is your password, and if your MFA is not activated, then that's it. I gain full access to your banking accounts. So apart from that, apart from loans, banking accounts, I can also do a lot of illegal activities using your online quote unquote identity. So last but not least, your reputation can be at risk. Okay, I can pretend to be you, get in touch with your colleagues, with your classmates and friends, and borrow money from them, and victimize them. So they wouldn't know it's me. They will think it's you borrowing money from them. Those are just examples on why identity theft is here, and it is here to stay. Okay, so we need to be very careful, especially in the era of internet and automation. Okay. Now, how to possibly reduce the possibility of identity theft? Number one, set your social media account settings to private. Sasabihin ng iba, ba nag-social media account ka ba? Naka-private naman. So, you need to weigh things. At the end of the day, it will be up to you. But then again, setting it to public will pose a great risk to you when you talk about identity theft. Okay? Because anybody can see your profile. Anybody can browse who your friends are. Anybody can pretend that he is your classmate, and steal the identity of the classmate and victimize you, and vice versa. Then second, do not post personal information. When we talk about personal information, again, these are information that when put together will help me identify who this person is. So mobile number, address, your birthday, so on and so forth. Do not post them in any social media site. Okay. Next, be cautious in accepting social media friend invites. I can pretend to be someone else, to be a former classmate, and invite you, send you a friend invite in Facebook. You need to validate carefully. Don't trust the picture. There are a lot of cases already wherein a lot of people fell victim because of the picture that was used in Facebook. So validate before accepting any friend invite. Because even if your social media is set to private, if you have accepted the threat actor, as we call it, as your friend, then he gains access to your information as well. Next, use different passwords per account. It's hard, but we need to do it. Okay, so the password, ideally, the passwords you use in your online banking should be different from the passwords that you use in your social media accounts. To be strictly speaking, your Facebook password should be different from your Instagram password, so on and so forth. So that if the idea behind it is that if your Facebook account gets hacked, Instagram doesn't get hacked. Okay. But if you use the same passwords across all the online accounts, if I gain access to your Facebook account, then I gain access automatically to all your accounts, online banking, to your Instagram, to your TikTok account, so on and so forth. A lot of cases happen wherein people would report that they got hacked, but upon further investigation, it's not the fault of the hacker. No hacking activity occurred. It's just that somebody else got hold of their password and was able to gain access to all their accounts, withdrew money from their accounts, transferred it to another bank account, so on and so forth. So So if you're a bank or a client of this bank, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you lose money there, then the bank got hacked already. No, so you need to really carefully look at things. Okay, so next, never use the remember password functionality as our speaker has mentioned. Okay, because if I gain access to your mobile phone, then there's no need for me to log in anymore. Everything is there. Use strong and frequently changed passwords. Okay, paraphrasing is the norm nowadays. It's what's recommended. Paraphrasing, and do not log in to online accounts using public Wi-Fi. It was mentioned by the previous speaker, because the free Wi-Fi's, if it's a legit Wi-Fi by the institution or by the mall, can offer a certain level of security. But the problem there is that, are you really sure that if you're working in Starbucks, that you're using the free Wi-Fi of Starbucks? I can go to Starbucks also, activate my pocket Wi-Fi, and name it as Starbucks. And who would know? And which is which, if you're there? To which Wi-Fi connection will you connect to? Will you connect to my Wi-Fi, which I named as Starbucks, which I intentionally placed inside the coffee shop while I'm there to get access to your accounts? The moment you connect to my Wi-Fi, I can gain access to all your applications already, even to your computer, even to your mobile phone. Okay, so be very vigilant when you connect in public Wi-Fi's, especially if it's free and if it's not password protected. If it's not password protected, immediately disconnect. Okay, next, activate your MFA. I'm not saying that if you have MFA, you will not be hacked, but it will be harder for hackers to hack into your account. Okay, you can still be hacked. There's no system and no network is 100% secure. But then again, it's better to have a second layer of security than just merely trust the security that's being offered by your username and passwords. Okay, next, password protect mobile devices and workstations. The reason for which is that if the device gets lost, then it will be harder for the person to gain access to your mobile device or to your online accounts. Then use different shared profiles. For shared devices, use different profiles, user profiles. I know that at home we used to share our computers with our siblings, with people within our household. But then again, it would help that we create a separate profile per user, so that if one user gets compromised, one user account gets compromised, the others are not automatically impacted. Okay, and in all of your devices and applications, log out after every use. Okay. A lot of reports, we have received a lot of reports in my previous organization wherein they tell us that their account got hacked. And upon further investigation, we discovered that they used public computers, not just public Wi-Fi's. No? I'm talking about computers in computer rentals, internet cafes, even in the laboratories, which are being used by a lot of people. Okay, so if you log into your Facebook using a public computer and don't log out, if I use that computer, again, immediate access to your Facebook account. So I don't even need to be a hacker. That's why I mentioned a while ago that most of the time, the person to blame is us as well. No, we don't take care of our online accounts. Okay. Then next, keep documents, IDs containing personal information and passwords from the public eye. It's not just online. No, you need to take care of the hard copies that you have. If your IDs are just there on your desk, then you're at risk. So same as what we have shown a while ago in the video, no computer was involved there. It's merely somebody calling someone else and kind of scaring him, extracting information from that phone call, and then identity theft happens. Okay. Last but not least, report lost or stolen accounts or IDs to authorities. It's very important because if somebody else would pretend to be you, at least you have reported that already. No, and the authorities would really know that it's not you. No, somebody else did it on your behalf. Okay, I guess that's it for identity theft. Now moving on, especially for our students, how to secure your Google LMS account. These are a couple of tips on how to secure your LMS accounts. First, add recovery information, your mobile phone and email, so that if something unusual happens to your account, if you used to log in MC, QC, and Google notices that somebody logged in from the US, it will notify you if you have your mobile and email accounts there. Okay. Then turn on two-step verification or MFA. Okay, so that apart from the usual passwords, you'll be required to input one-time pins or use your Google Authenticator to authenticate and prove that it is really you trying to access your account. Like, it really helps. But then again, no network and no system is 100% secure. So even with the two-step verification, you need to be vigilant. Okay. When you share files, be sure that it's not shared to the whole of Miriam College, because you don't know everybody here. I can have access to your file if you share it to the whole of Miriam College because I'm part of Miriam. So be sure that it's only shared to intended recipients. Okay, it's restricted. It cannot be accessed by anybody aside from the people you share it to. That's it. Thank you very much. Be safe and be cyber safe. Now I'm turning it over to Jazz Velasco. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony. And now we'll show on your screen the link and also the QR code where our participants can send in their questions. So let's check. Okay, so for our first question, either Miss Desha or Mr. Anthony can answer. Can you explain how multi-factor authentication enhance security? Sometimes it's quite challenging to get OTP or app approval, especially when the Wi-Fi is weak. Mr. Anthony, do you want to answer that question?
Yes, for MFA, it really enhances security because apart from without MFA, you input your passwords and you're in. Okay. With MFA, even if I get hold of your password, even if I'm a hacker, I get hold of your password, I won't be able to log into your system unless I get hold of your mobile phone as well, which is very unlikely. Because if I get hold of your passwords via scraping or via hacking into the system, it's impossible for me to get hold of all your mobile phones. So, because the one-time PIN is being sent to the mobile phone. Okay, so in that sense, it will be harder for me to hack into your account. That's why we recommend to activate MFA, not just in your Google Classroom or LMS, but even in Facebook, LinkedIn, so on and so forth, in all of the accounts that you are using, because it provides a second layer of authentication so that the system knows that it's really you who's logging in. Okay. Now, if you have poor Wi-Fi connectivity, there are workarounds. No, because when we talk about MFA, we're not just talking about one-time pins. In some areas, the mobile signal is weak as well, so you're having hard time getting hold of the OTPs also. So we have what we call the authenticator. If you're using Google, we have the Google Authenticator. You just have to open it, type in the password, type in the one-time PIN in the Google Authenticator, and then it authenticates you. If you if you have a weak mobile signal, then the authenticator will do. We have what we call backup codes as well, wherein you can list down the backup codes that Google will provide. And if you don't have internet, you don't have mobile phones with you, you just list down the backup codes using your pen and paper and use that as your one-time PIN. It will work in Google. Now, it depends on what system you are using. With Microsoft, they also have the authenticator, they also have one-time PINs, so on and so forth. So I agree with the concern. It makes it harder for us to log into the system with MFAs because apart from the password, you need to log in or you need to key in additional information. But come to think of it, it makes it harder for us and it makes it harder for the hacker also. If it's easier for you, it makes it easier for the hacker. So you really need to weigh things out. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony. Um, we'll take one more question from our viewers. The second one is, what are we doing in Miriam College to address cybersecurity threats and maintain data integrity?
Well, what are we doing in Miriam? Apart from the technology that we have implemented and the processes, because when you talk about cybersecurity, we just don't focus on technology per se. It's not enough. Now, so when we talk about cybersecurity, when we talk about securing the environment, it's a combination of technology, processes, people, and most importantly, awareness. Okay, so we have focused on all of those areas to ensure that it's a continuous, that there are continuous initiatives. No, number one is cybersecurity awareness. One example is this forum, which we do every year, every school year, together with other cybersecurity awareness campaigns that we conduct every year in Miriam, because it's very important for me. Cybersecurity awareness is more important than technology. If people are aware, with cybersecurity, the most common hacks, attacks, and how to avoid or mitigate the impact, what to do when they get hacked. I guess that would be, I mean, you're solving 50% of the problem already. The other 50% is the technology that we implement. We have implemented a lot of IT security tools and technologies in Miriam College. Your emails are protected from phishing. We have implemented disaster recovery plans. We have endpoint security, firewalls, so on and so forth. Now we have all of those. We have vulnerability assessments and technologies that can help us see the bigger picture before it happens. We are more proactive than reactive using all of those technologies. So apart from that, technology is just a technology. It should be coupled with policies and procedures, which we also have right now. And but then again, it's a continuous effort. We cannot sit on our laurels. We make it sure that evaluation, continuous risk assessments are being performed, so on and so forth. Because again, even if we have all of those initiatives and technologies, the question is, when will we be hacked? Now, as experts would put it, there are only three organizations in the world. First is the one who got hacked already. Second, the one who will be hacked. And third, the one who got hacked without them knowing. So tatlo lang. Because they're really, you need to remember that hackers work 24/7 and we don't, di ba? We work for productivity and efficiency to provide better service, but hackers, they're there 24/7 trying to hack into your system. So, but then again, fear not, we are here. We are continuously improving our IT security posture, day in and day out. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that assurance, Mr. Anthony. So we've reached the end of our session. We would like to thank everyone for joining us today at IT Security Day. Your participation truly made this event a success. Keep in mind that prioritizing IT security is crucial in today's digital landscape. Let us continue to stay informed and vigilant. As we continuously strive to improve our sessions, we kindly request that you take a few moments of your time to provide us with your valuable feedback by answering our online evaluation. Again, stay secure and keep empowering a safer online world. Thank you.